Last season, Portsmouth achieved promotion back to the Championship after a 12-season absence. So today, we take the manager's seat at Fratton Park using an updated database to take Pompey back into the Championship. So guys, here we are in game with Portsmouth back in the Championship. Now I do have to say, as a little caveat, we are using an updated database, so in the fact that we are in the Championship, great. Any additional signings that Portsmouth have made in the real time, they are not included in this. It's very difficult to keep up to date with all of these transfer activities with all of these clubs, so unfortunately no transfer business, so we've had to go out and do our own. If we go and have a look at the transfer history, we have been able to bring in a couple of midfielders because we are struggling financially with these updates. For some reason, it doesn't like giving promoted clubs money. I guess that is what happens when you mod Football Manager to such an extent. We have brought in two players though, both on free transfers. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 comes in to play in that cam spot, Brazilian, 31 years of age, as I said, coming in on free transfer. And we've also signed Jensen Weir from Brighton and Hove Albion, again on a free transfer to play in central midfield. You'll see why I need central midfielders to kind of do a bit of everything in a second. He's 22 years of age, youth Scottish international, so I'm hoping we can go in and have a good year here. If we go and have a look at the tactic we are running 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪's Deadpool. I will leave a link to it down in the description, but it is a 4-2-3-1 and it does work pretty darn well. If we quick pick without restriction, this is how we are set up. Obviously former Bristol City man Marlon Pack here. Obviously I'm very well aware of Marlon's work, and obviously we have Colby Bishop, who's probably going to be our main focal point for the attack in the Championship this year. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 does come into the starting 11 right off the rip, but ultimately the team is all right if we can actually maybe swap Weir and Lowry around there. That's probably what we're going to run there. Weir and Pack as the two central midfielders on defend. I think they should be able to do a decent enough job to keep us in the Championship. Speaking of, if we go and have a look at the Sky Bet Championship, we are obviously having the EFL Cup and the Emirates FA Cup as well, and we look at the Championship. I will say in this one, using the updated databases, again, you can't deal with playoffs. So Southampton are actually still in our league, so we're going to have a nice derby or a couple of derbies in season 1, which is good to see. And if we have a look at the odds, they're less good to see. We are predicted to finish in 23rd. Oxford United did get promoted in this particular world as well, so we are predicted to finish in 23rd, struggle against everything, as Burnley, Luton, Sheffield United are amongst, with Southampton and Leeds to go back up. So some very interesting work. Also Sam Allardyce is the Burnley manager in this universe, so some good stuff going on there. We are going to simulate season 1 in the Championship to see how we get on. But first, we have a word from the sponsor of today's video. Today, let's dive into the world of office ergonomics with the FlexiSpot E7 Pro standing desk, which is a complete game changer for your office space. Discover how a standing desk can improve your work and well-being by reducing back pain, boosting energy levels, and enhancing circulation. And as someone who fractured their spine 7 years ago, I can comfortably say this has been transformative to my work area. These desks allow you to increase your focus and creativity, but more importantly for me, it allows better reactions and emotions on stream. But Okada Symphony! It's a symphony hat-trick! Yes! Desks can be set at various heights, be it seated, standing, or anywhere in between. There is no wobble in the desk at all, and they can handle immensely heavy loads. Yeah, not like him. More like up to 160 kilograms, which is about 1.5 of me, thanks to the motorized drivers in both of the legs. And the team at FlexiSpot are so unbelievably confident in this product. They are not only offering you a 10-year warranty with this product, they are also offering you a 60-day free return should this product not be as described for your workstation. The frame comes in 3 different colors, and work surfaces are available in a wide range of finishes and sizes to fit your space perfectly. So are you ready to upgrade your workspace? Visit flexispot.co.uk in the link in the description, as FlexiSpot celebrate their 8th anniversary, and you can save yourself up to 55% throughout the month of August. This season, our priority was the Championship, so it will come as no surprise that we had 2 swift exits in both domestic cup competitions. We did manage to make it through the first round of the EFL Cup against Charlton, but then suffered a 3-1 home defeat to Premier League Bournemouth in the second round. And in the FA Cup we needed a replay to advance past Wigan, but then lost again at home, this time to Stockport County from League One. Which is a touch embarrassing, but that does mean we had less fixtures throughout the course of the season, so hopefully we did better in the Championship, right? Well, our start to life in the Championship was nothing short of horrendous, as we lost 6 of our opening 7 games, and I'm sure supporters in real life would be calling for the manager's head at this point. However, we gradually started to turn things around from September onwards, and we actually started achieving some better results. No surprise that key man for us this season was 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙈, who continued his impressive goal scoring from last season, as he bagged 26 goals in 40 appearances and seemingly made the step up to the division superbly. We kicked off 2025 with back-to-back defeats, but really began smashing things after that. Points were consistently streaming in, with some huge results in there, like a 7-0 demolition of fellow promoted side Derby in February. We definitely punched above our weight this season and finished the campaign on 71 points, which saw us secure a 9th place finish in the Championship. Which, considering this was our first season back in the division, I will definitely take it. But we still have plenty of work to do here, and over the summer we have a £4.3 million transfer budget, but several of our key players are currently wanted, so we're going to need to see what happens there. And just as a side note, that over the summer window we did have a takeover, but it was seemingly kept in the family. So we didn't get any extra cash, which is a little bit sad. So we didn't really have a lot of transfer business on the outgoings to talk to you guys about. We did have one player who departed us on loan to PAOK. We signed him and then couldn't get him a work permit, so he's quickly gone out on loan to Greece to hopefully get us a work permit. Former Sundowns and Supersport United player, so we love to see that. As you can see, yeah, there he is, signing on a free and going straight out on loan just 4 days later because, yeah, work permit wasn't happening, but I think he could be a very good player for us. 𝘼𝙗𝙗 𝙈𝙚 is a very good player coming in that right back's position, really boosts us up. Former Inter Milan player, 22 years of age, 1 cap for the Italy under-21s as well, so he is a good free addition on that side from Inter Milan. But then you can see some of the business that we've done here. I'm just going to highlight some of them there. Bailey Peacock Farrell coming in for a fee of 165k. Pablo Rodriguez coming in from Lecce for 975k. That is what he looks like to play up front as well, which is pretty good to have a backup to 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙈. But you can see there, we basically brought in some really good business. Only spent £1.1 million, which I think is kind of a good realm for us. You don't want to go overspending, but the money in the Championship to be competitive is still quite key. If we have a look at the tactic and we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how we are set up for the season. Obviously you can see some of these players coming in. Obviously that striker was the key man for us, but yeah, failed that work permit, which we will continue to apply for, but hopefully with him playing in Greece he will be able to continue to get what we need him to. 𝙈𝙗𝙗 does come in, Swanson comes in that left back area. You can see Weir and Lowry dominating that midfield there, but the team's looking pretty solid. Obviously where that striker is away, 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗 will come back in to be our number 9 to lead the line for us this season, and hopefully we can have a improvement. Obviously we have the same 3 competitions as last season. We finished 9th in the Championship last year. I'd like to start pushing towards a promotion place. Ideally I think the playoffs is probably going to be most realistic. If we have a look at the season preview, 3 teams that were relegated from the Premier League: Nottingham Forest, Norwich and Ipswich Town. Birmingham, no surprise, they got re-promoted. Huddersfield and Rotherham were promoted back into the division, but we are predicted to finish in 20th. The media are not backing us at this particular level, so some very interesting stuff going on here, but hopefully we can punch above our weight just like we did in season number 1 and hopefully push towards those playoff places. As I mentioned in the season preview, I really wanted to improve on last season's finish, and it actually helped us this season that we didn't get battered to open the campaign. But it was towards the end of the year where things really took off for us, as we won 10 matches in a row to close out 2025 to fire us up the table. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 was again at the top of the club's goal scoring charts, this time racking up 28 goals in 45 appearances in all competitions, but the standout player was summer signing 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 𝙈𝙚, who provided a huge huge 23 assists from the right back position in his debut season. Our form after Christmas continued to be strong, with us only suffering 2 defeats on the road, but as we moved into March, things took a massive nosedive, with us losing 6 of our last 8 games to close out the season. And that is pretty annoying, because without that, we would have won the league title. But instead, Leeds United were crowned champions, and we will have to settle for 2nd place and just promotion back to the Premier League, which is more than I was expecting this season, so we will 100% take it. Season 2 also saw us improve on our cup performances as we progressed to the quarter-final stage of the EFL Cup, only to lose on penalties to Premier League West Ham. And in the FA Cup, we suffered a narrow defeat to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light in the 3rd round. But overall, this was a remarkable season, and you know what that means. We have Premier League money coming into our bank balance. Over the summer, we have almost £50 million to take this team into English football's top flight. So let's get to work. Right, so transfers going into the Premier League season. We've had one major player leave. Regan Poole has departed. He said he wanted to leave anyway, so we've sold him before that time came around. He has gone to Burnley for £8.5 million. Eduardo Teixeira, who we signed on a free, has also been sold for 700k, so some good business there. On this page, we have signed a couple players, former Premier League players who you will recognise. Tahith Chong came in from Luton Town on a free transfer, and we did sign Leif Davis for £15 million from Ipswich, of course. He is sensational in this year's game, and I'm hoping in FM25 he gets a nice boost. We also did get some business done really early, so if I highlight the ones that we did get done, you can see some of the names that we did bring in. We have signed Jarrell Kwanzaa on a very tiny fee, 165k for his services. Ronnie Edwards is another one coming in from Peterborough. Vinicius Mello has come in from Charlotte. If you're watching my stream, save with basically us doing a Pentagon challenge, you have seen Vinicius Mello in action. He's very good, so we brought him in here. But my favourite signing, I do have to say, is this guy. Coming in from Palmeiras, Brazilian, 23 years of age. He's called John John. I just like that as a name. Big up John John. He comes in, and obviously Palmeiras are very good with their players. The player that we spent the most money on is this guy from Brighton, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚. He looks very good in those midfield places, and he's also one of those players, when you ask him what position he plays, he basically just says yes. Always good to have a utility player. He was the most expensive of the signings, £22.5 million for him. He has played for Southampton. We're going to look past it. If we go into the team and have a look at how these transfers have improved us, if we go into here with our best 11, this is how we are set up for the season. Omobamidele alongside Edwards, with Sam Kovac as the new goalkeeper. I didn't touch on him. He has come in, as you can see here, for £1.6 million from Serbia. So it is always nice to go shopping in the Serbian Super League every now and again. That back line looks really good. I think Zanotti and Davis can really complement each other on both the left and the right hand side. But the team is looking pretty good here. We still do have a couple of good options for us. We're balanced, but I would say we have no true superstars. I mean, Ronald is probably the highlight of them on the right hand side, but he is wanted by Al Ahly. So you never know. Sometimes when Saudi comes calling, they're going to at least quadruple his wage. So sometimes you have to let these types of players go. Obviously, we have 3 competitions this season. I don't really care about the league, about the cup competitions. I just want to stay in the Premier League. And if we have a look at the Premier League, you can see it's a very interesting league this season. If we go and have a look at the season preview, we are expected to finish one but bottom. Leeds United went up as champions. We went up second. Rotherham did back-to-back promotions in this world, and they got themselves promoted via the playoffs. I expect them to struggle. We are expected to fare just a little bit better and get relegated again ourselves. I just want to finish in 17th. I just want to stay in the division, get another bout of Premier League money into the club's coffers, and see how we get on. But again, let's get to simulating. Kicking off the Season 3 review, we do have our performance in the cup competitions. And in the EFL Cup, we were progressing quite nicely, and then we got drawn against Manchester City. And somehow, we came out on top in this one, as Bruninho bagged a first-half brace as part of our 3-1 win to see us move into the quarter-finals for a 2nd season in a row. This year, we drew Tottenham, and after a 0-0 draw, we were dumped out on penalties, which seems to be a bit of an Achilles heel for us in these cup competitions. And in the FA Cup, we moved past Bolton and Nottingham Forest before again losing to Ipswich. Yep, you guessed it, on penalties.
But is this on joke.
But the main goal of the season was Premier League survival, and we started out our campaign like a house on fire, winning 7 of our opening 8 games, including wins against the likes of Manchester City and Spurs. Things did settle down for what I was expecting throughout the rest of the season, but that was some unbelievable start. For a 3rd season in a row, King Colby was at the top of our goal scoring charts, bagging a goal every other game in the Premier League, getting a total of 14 goals in 28 appearances. And the best of the summer signings was left back Leif Davis, who not only was our player with the best average rating, but he also provided 2 goals and 9 assists from left back in all competitions. In the second half of the season, we really struggled for consistency, having months of 4 losses, but following them up with a month full of winning every single game. But I guess that could be just life in the Premier League, depending on what the fixture computer thinks of you. We finished the season on 55 points and a positive goal difference to claim 9th in the table, which I was gassed at for our first season back in the Premier League. Money continues to stack in our bank account, and we have another £55 million to spend this summer as we try to push even further up the table. So transfers going into season number 4, and we got ourselves active pretty quickly. As you can see from the transfers in section on the 27-28 season, there's nothing listed. It's because we got everything done early doors. Pablo Rodriguez was the only outgoing. He has departed to Cardiff City. Didn't really make the impact that we were hoping he would do, despite having a good holy trinity of dribbling, finishing and first touch, along with some good physicals and stuff like that. He's gone to Cardiff for £2.3 million. And if we have a look at the business that we have done, you can see here, these are the players kind of spending smaller fees here, there and everywhere, a 15, an 8.75, a 1.5, a 1.6, and then we dropped £65 million on a centre-back because he was 1, already in the Premier League, and 2, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙕 is a absolute monster. 6'5", 17 jump in reach. Obviously coming out of Leipzig originally when you start up a game. Former PSG youngster. He's an absolute freak in this year's game. And if you can find him and hit him off the corners, he is absolutely brilliant. Annoyingly, in this save, he had already moved to West Ham. He'd played a couple seasons in the Premier League, wasn't playing too much, so we bought him, we snapped him up. Yes, it's £65 million, but when you look at the other bits of business that we have done, we were a little bit more frugal with some of our spending, bringing in players like Domina, who came in from Newcastle, because Newcastle burned through players like nobody's business, but going and shopping in Argentina, bringing in players like this. Pedro de la Vega looks like a very good option on that left-hand side. 𝘼𝙗𝙤 as well, the former Bayern Munich man, £4.6 million. I'm expecting a lot from him. Haven't actually used him too much in this year's game, but he does have that 5-star potential. He is consistent, and obviously being a former Bayern Munich man, there is obviously some sort of expectation in him there. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how we are set up right now. I'm actually really happy with this team. This is the best team we have had so far. I do enjoy the fact that Weir is still here, being one of our first signings when we were in the Championship, racking up 113 appearances for us in the league now, and now is basically a 3.5-star player. We've got real good balance in this team. 𝘼𝙗𝙤 is the star in that cam spot, and I'm expecting a lot from him, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, as you would expect, this is the best team that we have had, and we do have the same 3 competitions again. If we go into the Premier League though, season preview, we are expected to struggle. We were 900 to 1 last season. We are now 800 to 1. We are still predicted to finish in 19th, so it's time for us to go out there and prove everybody wrong. First up this season, let's talk about the first trophy on offer, because yes, we're talking about trophies right now. That is the EFL Cup. We made light work of our first few rounds, defeating Gillingham, Wigan and Aston Villa to make our way through to the quarterfinals. Now, for the last 2 seasons, we've got to this stage and failed to advance. Well, this year we were drawn against Manchester City at home. Well, I say at home, we're currently playing at Southampton Stadium as our board search for a location for a new 47,000-seater stadium. City named a heavily rotated 11, but we still couldn't get a result, with our striker 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙕 missing our best opportunity from the spot in the second half to see us lose 2-0 and exit at the quarter-final stage for a 3rd year in a row. However, it did seem like the Premier League wasn't our competition either this year, as we were getting hidings all over the place with a smattering of green amongst our schedule. Striker 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙕 was our main goal threat this season, having arrived from Portugal in the summer for just £1.6 million. He scored 28 goals in 42 games in all competitions, so I would say that is money well spent. Our second half of the season was a mild improvement, but you could easily see what our problem was. We are just conceding far too many goals. So I guess it's time for more defensive reinforcements in the summer. And it will come as no surprise with those results that we slid down the table to land in 14th with 42 points and a -17 goal difference. And finally, to conclude season number 4, we went on one hell of a run in the FA Cup. After dispatching Barnet in the 3rd round, we had to face Chelsea. The game was at Stamford Bridge and ended up in a 0-0 draw before we were able to win the replay 1-0 thanks to an own goal from Trevor Chalobah. It was Brighton up next, and yet again we had a stroke of luck in this game as it ended up in a penalty shootout with our goalkeeper saving 2 spot kicks to see us advance to the quarter-finals. This is where the competition took a step up as we had to take on Liverpool at Anfield. But to my surprise, we raced out to a 3-goal lead before Liverpool remembered who they are. They did score twice in the final 10 minutes, but we were able to hold on to progress to the semi-finals at Wembley. And seemingly our draw bad luck continued here as we had to face Manchester United. But like in previous ties, the larger team rotated and we punished them for it, scoring twice in each half to secure a 4-0 win and our way through to a FA Cup final. My goal here was to replicate the success of 2008, and all I had was that image of 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 in my mind for this game. And we had to take on West Ham in this final, and despite being the better team on the day, a header from 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 settled the game, with the Hammers putting up a great defensive effort. Season 4 was a mixed bag as I feel like we should have done better in the league, but it would have been all worth it if we'd have just won that FA Cup. We do have a massive transfer budget this summer of £64 million, but we have to improve this defence. So guys, transfer update going into our 5th and final season. Here we have it. You can see on this page, our goalkeeper Stankovic has gone. He has gone to Eintracht Frankfurt for £14 million, or an initial £14 million. We also sold Ronald as well. He has gone to Coventry. Didn't really do the damage that we were hoping he would do. But obviously when that Premier League money hits, you can see some of the players that we have replaced him with. On this side, the 3 transfers that are part of this season's campaign. I wish this would update in Football Manager. We've signed Gonçalo Guedes on a free transfer. Obviously you can see why Ronald has gone. We've replaced him with a better player in my mind. 31 years of age is Guedes now, but can play as a natural on both sides, good on both feet, can play as a striker. He offers us a lot of versatility, and on a free transfer you absolutely love to see it. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙤𝙗 was one of the defensive reinforcements that we brought in. Can play centre back, can play right back, is supremely well rounded. He is going to be our right back moving forward. And finally on this page is Tim Braithwaite, can play centre back, defensive midfield, central midfield, supremely well rounded, 6'4". I love a big meaty man in my team. And then on this page you can see our goalkeeper replacement was James Trafford, who we managed to sign for just 210k from Burnley. I think he is an improvement at 6'6", the former Manchester City man, despite his star rating not being great from my coaches, but what do star ratings matter anyway? And we also signed Gianluca Prestiani, wonder kid extravaganza this year. Again, a natural on both sides, needs to work on his finishing because it's only at a 10. And Pablo Barrios is the last one coming in from Crystal Palace. I believe he's the Atletico Madrid wonder kid. Obviously has developed okay in this world. I think he's probably more suited for me to be a little bit more of a central attacking midfielder rather than the CM on defend, but he does have 13 tackling and 12 marking, so I guess he can definitely do a job there as well. If we go and take a look at the team with a quick pick without restriction to the best 11, this is how we are set up. It still says that we are weak in goal with James Trafford there just being a 2-star, but I actually think some of these star ratings are a little bit skewed. I'm not trusting my staff on it because I actually think this team is ready to do a little bit of damage. Annoyingly though, we do still have some transfer budget, but I can't edit this anymore. I wish I could move more money into the wage budget so that we could sign a couple of cheaper players, maybe a different goalkeeper, who knows, but that is part of FM that I wish that we just had full customizability of, is that budget. The team is looking pretty good. I'm confident in it. We've got the same 3 competitions yet again. In the Premier League though, if we have a look at the season preview, there's different winners of it. Liverpool have won it once in this save so far, Man City twice, and Chelsea got it all together and won it last season. If we have a look at the season preview though, apparently we've gone backwards. 1,000 to 1 to win the league is where we're put. The 3 promoted teams of Fulham, Leicester and Southampton all predicted to do better than us, so we're going to have our work cut out this season, but I think we can definitely do it. And before we get into the results of our 5th and final season, if you are still here watching this video, thank you. I always appreciate you guys who make it all the way through the videos. And you know what I ask. I ask at this point if you can make a comment down below in the comment section so I know that you made it to this point in the video. All I want you guys to put is play up Pompey. That's all I want. Play up Pompey. Get that guy with the bell just constantly doing it at Fratton Park. I've done a couple of games at Fratton Park and that guy makes you go bloody insane with that chant. But play up Pompey down below. Let's get into the season 5 results and hopefully we can have a little bit more success. Whilst last season we had 2 decent cup runs, this year was not the year for it. We suffered yet another penalty shootout loss in the EFL Cup, this time going down to Liverpool at Anfield. Then, after reaching an FA Cup final last season, we lost in the 3rd round on the road to Stockport. So, not a great set of results, but it did seem like we turned a corner in the Premier League. We had a great start to the season, but it seemed the fixture computer hated us in October as we had to face Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United all in the same month. But after that, results picked up and we went on a 10-game unbeaten run to close out 2028. The new shining star in the team is former Bayern Munich man 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, who was pulling the strings for us in that cam spot as he provided 11 goals along with 8 assists in the Premier League alone. But yet again, our results in the second half of the season were a little bit tough. But remember, we were expected to get relegated in 20th this season. We did have a couple of nice wins in there, like beating both Chelsea and Arsenal at home, so some good results for the Fratton Park faithful. However, we clearly did enough over the festive period to stay high enough in the table to secure a 7th place finish and get a Europa League qualification spot. The club has a nice budget of £55 million for the summer and will be moving into a brand new stadium in 2 years' time. So this is where I can hand the save over to you guys. I put all of my rebuild saves over on my Patreon. They will be there right now. I will also put a link to it in the top pinned comment if you are a Portsmouth fan and you want to continue this journey. You don't want to do the hard work of getting them in the Premier League. You want to get here. You want to have fun. I get it. Go and get the save. If you want to watch more rebuild content from me, guys, check out this playlist popping up right here. It's every single rebuild that we've done on this year's game.